Chapter 5 of The Rat Race by J. Franklin. As the door to the room slammed convulsively behind Myrtle, Mrs. Rutherford relaxed, laid the automatic on the sofa between us, and flung back her mink coat. She was an appetizing little number, if you liked 'em red-haired, well-developed, and mad through and through. Instinctively I started to reach for the gun, but was checked by her laugh. "Take it by all means," she said. "It's not loaded. I only needed it for the maid. Tell me, Winnie, have you got her on your string too? The maid, made or undone, as they used to say." "Virginia," I said firmly, "I told you earlier this morning that we were through. There's nothing more to be said about it. It's finished, done, kaput. All's well that ends." She laughed again and looked at me closely. In spite of myself, I began pulling nervously at the lobe of my left ear, a habit of mine when confused which has always irritated my Dorothy. "There," Virginia said finally, "that's it." Her voice had a note of finality with a touch of total triumph that I found disturbing. "Well, have you anything to say?" I asked. "Have you anything to say?" "I've already said it, Virginia. Nice as you are and beautiful as you are, we're washed up. It won't work, and we both know it. So why not shake hands and quit friends?" She took my proffered hand in hers, but instead of shaking it, examined it carefully. "Very clever," she murmured. "You've even got that little mole at the base of your thumb." "Of course I have. It's been there since birth." "Very, very clever, Winnie," she continued. "But it won't do, my Winnie, because, you see, you aren't my Winnie at all. You're a total stranger." "I've changed," I admitted. "I'm trying to be halfway decent." "Whoever wanted Winnie to be halfway decent?" she mused. "Nobody. He was much pleasanter as he was, a rich, friendly boob. As for you, whoever you are, I'm on to your game. You aren't Winfred Tompkins and you know it." I put some heavy sarcasm into my reply. "How did you ever guess, Mrs. Rutherford?" She laughed airily, helped herself to a cigarette, and leaned forward while I lighted it, so that I could not help seeing deep into the straining V of her blouse. "Lots of things. In the first place, you call me Virginia when we're alone, instead of Bozo, as you always used to." "I stopped calling you Bozo when I made up my mind," I began. "Nuts to you, buddy," she rejoined. "Then you kept pulling at your ear as though you were milking a cow while I was needling you. Winnie never did that. When he was in a spot, he always reached in his pocket and jingled his change, or, as a desperate measure, twiddled his keys." "Don't judge my habits by my hangovers," I insisted. "I'm not feeling well, and I've had a sort of psychic shock." "Winnie never said psychic in his life, poor lamb," she observed. "He didn't know what it meant. No, I don't know what your game is, but I'm on to you and we're going to be real buddies from now on, or what?" "The police," she observed quietly, "take a dim view of murder in this state. Now, I'm willing to be broad-minded. Winnie was a louse who had it coming to him, I guess. I was playing him for a quick divorce and marriage. $3 million is a lot of money, even in these days, and it would have been nice to have been married to it. But it's even nicer this way, I guess." The decanter was within reach. I poured myself another drink. "Have some?" I asked. "And why not? What's yours is mine, and we both need it." "Why did you say it was nicer this way, Mrs. Rutherford?" I inquired. "Virginia to you, Winnie." "It's because now I don't have to marry you and I still have a pipeline to the Tompkins millions." "So you are going in for blackmail," I observed. "Suppose I threatened to divorce Jimmy and marry you. After all, I still could." "A girl has her pride," she murmured. "Not that I'd mind having fun with you, Winnie, as I think I'd better call you. But a wife can't give testimony against her husband, and I think I'd rather like to be able to give testimony if needed. Besides, A husband has too many opportunities to help the undertaker. There are accidents in bathtubs and garages. Medicines get mixed up in the bathroom cabinet, and there is always the old-fashioned hatchet. No, since you've managed to get rid of the other Winnie somehow, I think I'll keep a safe distance and my silence, as long as you make it worth my while." "Suppose I won't play?" I suggested. "Then I'll go to the police or the FBI. They're supposed to catch kidnappers, aren't they? And tell them what I know." I stood up. This would be easier than I had expected. "Okay, Virginia," I said. "Go right ahead. There's a telephone. You can use it to call the Secret Service for all I care. See what luck you have with your story when my wife is here to testify that I'm Winnie Tompkins." Her face paled and her eyes narrowed angrily. "Jimmy too?" she asked. "Then you're both in it." "We're both in what?" The door opened and Germaine Tompkins stood in the entrance. Virginia Rutherford looked trapped and she instinctively pulled her mink back over her shoulders. "Nothing, Jimmy," she said at last. "I was foolish enough to hope that if I came back and had a talk alone with Winnie, we could pick up where we left off. He's been acting so strangely that he doesn't seem like himself at all. And so are you. That's what I meant by saying that you were both in it." "Virginia," my wife said firmly, "my husband told you to stay out of this house, and it's my home too. And now I find you here. Please go or I'll call the police." The two women exchanged appraising glances which suggested that they were both thoroughly enjoying the touch of melodrama that had come into their well-fed lives. "No, it's my fault for letting her in," I said. "She sent in word by Mary—" "You mean Myrtle?" "That she would like to see me. I agreed to do so, so you can't blame her. We talked things over and decided that it's all off. A few moments of madness, but that's all. And not worth wrecking 2 marriages for. Isn't that so, Mrs. Rutherford?" Virginia shook her head. "No, Winnie, it is not so. Jimmy, I came here with that gun. It wasn't loaded, but the next time it will be. I made Myrtle, or whatever her name is, show me in, and I told her I would shoot Winnie if she gave the alarm. Then I told him what I know about him." "And what is that?" my wife asked. "That he is not Winnie at all," Virginia declared. "That he is an imposter. That he, and perhaps you, had done away with poor old Winnie. I told him that I wouldn't tell his secret if he paid me to keep silent. And he told me to call the police." My wife went over to her and took her hand. "Poor darling Virginia," she murmured. "Why don't you go away and have a good rest? You've got yourself all worked up for a nervous breakdown. Of course it's Winnie. I'm married to him and I ought to know my own husband, shouldn't I? You've simply got run down and all, with rationing and war work. Why don't you let Jerry send you for a few weeks to the Hartford Sanctuary for psychoanalysis and a good rest?" Virginia dashed my wife's hand away. "In other words, you think I'm crazy," she snapped. "No, but I do think you're hysterical. This is Winnie. I'm Jimmy, and you're Virginia Rutherford. We've all been letting ourselves get over-emotional, and this war is a strain on everybody. Don't worry, Jerry can fix it for you quite easily, and we both will be glad to help pay for it, if you're worried about the money. After all," Germaine added wryly, "the whole thing is pretty much of a family affair, isn't it? Let's keep it that way." Mrs. Rutherford reached over and grabbed a gun from the sofa. "All right, Germaine Tompkins, murderess," she grated. "If that's the way you're going to play it, I'll play too. Don't worry about my mind. Start thinking about the electric chair. Remember, in this state they execute women who kill their husbands." Jimmy waited until the door closed behind the doctor's wife. Then she turned to me with a curious expression of weariness. "Poor man," she remarked. "You have got yourself into a bad mess, haven't you?" I nodded. "It didn't seem like one when I was getting into it," I said. It's only now, when I'm trying to get things straightened out, that it seems so awful.
Let's see, she continued. How many women is it you've been trying to keep away from each other? There's myself, of course, but wives don't count any more, do they? And there's Virginia Rutherford and Myrtle, and there was that blonde actress we met at Martha's Vineyard last summer, and is it one or two girls at the office?
Here was where I could object with complete sincerity. I swear that I've not been fooling with any of the office girls, I said.
I know, Jimmy agreed wisely. You always used to tell me that it was considered bad for business to play with the help. But after I saw the way you went for Myrtle, I decided that there were exceptions to every rule.
Nobody in the office, I repeated. I swear it.
Then perhaps it was the office next door. Maybe you brokers have an exchange system for taking on each other's stenographers. Charge it to business expenses for getting information about each other's dealings. But I know I've heard the name Briggs mentioned somehow in your connection.
The name means absolutely nothing to me, I insisted. If it will make you any happier, I'll admit to 100 women, but I'm through with all that sex stuff. From now on, I'm going to be a one-woman man. Germaine faced me with an air of resolution.
Would you mind giving me a drink of brandy? She asked. I've something to say to you, and I'm afraid you won't like it.
I went to the portable bar and poured her a pony of Courvoisier. Here you are, down the hatch. And now, what is it you want to tell me?
Believe me, Winnie, she said, it's not easy for me, but I'd better say it anyhow. I can't keep on suppressing it. Who are you?
What's that?
Who are you? She repeated. You look like my husband, but you don't talk like him. His clothes fit you, but Virginia Rutherford is quite right. You aren't Winnie Tompkins.
How did you guess?
Don't think I'll give you away, she continued. I won't, because you must have had a terribly important reason for doing whatever you have done. You seem to be in deep trouble of some kind. I'd like to help you if I can. Don't think I'm hard on my husband. It's been years since oh, you know. I married him for his money, and I still don't know why he married me. Yes, I do, but I've never liked to admit it. He'd made a lot of money in the market and had built his house. He needed a wife the way he needed an automobile, a portable bar, a Cape Heart, a thoroughbred Great Dane, and a membership in the Pond Club. I was available at a price, which he met. But that's all there is to our story.
Poor Jimmy, I sympathize. We're both lost, I guess. No, I'm not Winnie, but I don't know who else I could possibly be. You see, less than 24 hours ago, I was a lieutenant commander on a light carrier in the North Pacific, and...
Germaine slowly withdrew her hand from mine. Oh, she exclaimed softly. Oh, Winnie, poor old idiot. I'll take care of you and see that you get over this. Wait, I'll call the doctor right away. The Hartford Sanctuary's a very nice place, and I can come over every week to...
I shook my head. You'll do nothing of the kind, my dear, I ordered. No doctor can help me on this one. Besides, I added, how do you know that I wasn't batty before and have just come to my senses? Her eyes were frightened.
All right, dear, she agreed. I like you better this way anyhow.
End of chapter 5.